Good morning. Good morning and welcome to opening Convocation. As we begin, we invite you to please silence your cell phones, to remove any ball caps that you may be wearing, and to please stand as you are able for our opening processional. Thank you.
Let us pray. Loving God of tranquility, we extend our invitation for your presence to oversee the unfolding of this academic year. With hearts wide open and minds ready to receive, we seek your blessing and guidance as we embark on a journey of educational service. In this learning space, we acknowledge that sincere service emanates from love and humility. As we assume the roles of educators and learners, we ask for wisdom to recognize opportunities for kindness and provide us strength to act upon them. May our actions be guided by empathy and compassion, fostering a spirit of unity and growth within our community. Lord, guide us to be catalysts for transformation. Let us stand as bridges that unite individuals, dismantling the barriers of ignorance and bias. Grant us the inner strength to tackle social injustice and prejudice as we uphold the rights and dignity of each individual. We ask this in your name, amen. Please be seated.
Welcome, everybody. For those of you who haven't met me yet, I am Rosemary Allen. I'm the 26th president of Georgetown College, and I want to welcome you here to our 2023 opening convocation. This is one of our grand traditions, and it's a signature event for us. Here at the beginning of our academic year, we take a moment to come together as an educational community to recommit ourselves to each other and to our educational goals. It's a moment when we can resolve to be a great student, a good friend, a wonderful teammate, an effective teacher, a responsible leader, because right now all things are possible, and I believe in our strength and resolve to make the most of this wonderful upcoming semester. We come together as a welcoming and challenging educational community rooted in Christian love and service that prepares students to make a positive difference in the world. That's a wonderful way to think about what it is that we're going to be doing over the course of our time together through this academic year. And so welcome everyone to this opening convocation where we get to pull this all together. Please now stand as Mr. Christopher Powell, Director of Choral Activities, leads us in our hymn.
Join me in the chorale, please. Come Come, thou fount of every blessing, tune my heart to sing thy grace. Streams of mercy never ceasing, call for songs of loudest praise. Teach me some melodious sonnet, sung by flaming tongues above. Praise thy name, I'm fixed upon it, name of God's redeeming love. Here I raise to thee an altar, hither by thy help I've come, and I hope by thy good pleasure safely to arrive at home. Jesus sought me when a stranger, wandering from the fold of God. He to rescue me from danger interposed his precious blood. Oh, to grace how great a debtor daily I'm constrained to be. Let thy goodness like a fetter bind my wandering heart to thee. Prone to wander, Lord, I feel it, prone to leave the God I love. Here's my heart, oh, take and seal it for thy courts above. Thank you. You may be seated.
Good morning, my dear friends and colleagues, and mostly good morning to my dear students. This morning I have the opportunity and the pleasure of introducing the Student Government Association president. Before I do that, I want to remind you of the purpose of the Student Government Association. This is printed in the back of the program, but the Student Government Association serves as the voice of students. SGA serves as a liaison between students and the administration to hear student concerns and help implement new ideas and initiatives. SGA provides opportunity, support, funding, and guidance to all registered clubs, organizations on campus. The president of SGA, completing her term at the end of this semester, the SGA officers are elected at the end of the fall and serve from January to December. This year's president is Kaya Lanter. She is a junior political science major who is also a cheerleader on campus from Williamstown, Kentucky. Students, as you think about the purposes of SGA, and as you see and meet Kaya, and as she introduces the other officers, I encourage you to work with her. Make use of her as your resource, as your liaison, and work together to serve the purposes of SGA. Kaya, please come forward. Before Kaya speaks, I did want to acknowledge Gabby Dixon. Gabby is our Director of Student Engagement and works very closely with SGA in their work on campus. So thank you. Yeah.
Good morning, Georgetown College. This morning, I have the honor of introducing the rest of the Student Government Association, beginning with Vice President Brooke Gant, Vice President of Public Relations Kate Ruggles, Vice President of Academic Affairs Ella Hambris, Vice President of Campus Community Affairs, Mariah Bridges, and Parliamentarian Garrett, 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 Garrett You all may be seated.
Good morning. My name is Jonathan Sands-Wise, and I am the Provost and Executive Vice President at Georgetown College. It's my honor right now to introduce a couple of new faculty members who are joining us this year. Opening Convocation is always a wonderful time to meet some of the new members of our community. So would Professors Clarissa Williams and Sheila Kustelski please step forward? Right over here. Professor Clarissa Williams has her BA from Berea College and MS from Eastern Kentucky University. Her most recent experience has been at Berea and EKU, where she has taught as a wellness instructor. I can safely say that given all of her certifications in both first aid and water safety, she is the person I want with me when Water World happens. Our other new professor is Sheila Kustelski. Sheila has her BS from Cumberland University and her MBA from King University, both in Tennessee. Professor Kustelski served as head athletic trainer, assistant athletic director, and senior woman administrator, along with a stint as interim athletic director at King University, then became the assistant athletic director in charge of compliance and eligibility and senior woman leader at Cumberland University for the past 4 years. Her business card is a little more manageable at Georgetown, where she is now simply as is Professor Clarissa Williams, Professor of Kinesiology and Health Sciences. And we are so pleased to have both of them with us this year. It's now my honor to present to the John Walker Manning Distinguished Mentor and Teacher Award. This award recognizes faculty who are not only excellent teachers, but who have, in the word of the gift, shown a commitment to Georgetown College by being involved in extracurricular activities with students. Given its focus on mentorship and activities with students outside of the classroom, it's appropriate that among our major faculty awards, it is the only one that can be nominated by students and is awarded by a committee of students and faculty together. Often we try to announce these awards in such a way that the identity of the recipient remains vague as long as possible. But in this case, I doubt that's possible, because this individual is one of the most unique faculty at Georgetown College. From the tattoo of Mr. Rogers on his calf, to the beautiful instruments and sculptures he makes and that grace this campus, to his excited, engaged manner every time you talk to him about anything, but especially art. One nomination spoke about how he teaches through storytelling while creating stunning works with his hands, and how that storytelling approach opens up the class so that students feel comfortable sharing about their own concerns as well. Even beyond the classroom, this professor is known as one who shows up when students invite him to events or games. He is a constant cheerleader for students, a nominator wrote. I expect that everyone has their own stories about this faculty member. I will share that this past Friday, I asked him on short notice to come and meet with an alum who was giving us a beautiful gift of dozens and dozens of prints from the 1800s. And during the conversation, this professor shared that he actually trained originally as a stone lithographer, making exactly these kinds of prints by hand, because of course he did. One nominator wrote, "I know that Daniel puts so much of his life into his work, and he puts so much of his heart into his conversations with students. I have never had a professor who has treated me with such respect and value and care. He is a life changer, and Georgetown is so blessed to have him on faculty." I quite agree. We are. The recipient of this year's Manning Award is, of course, our very own stone lithographer, furniture maker, carpenter, luthier, and all-around craftsman, Daniel Graham.
Congratulations, Daniel. Really is probably one of the most extraordinary human beings I have ever met, and I'm very, very pleased about that. I do want to move on to say that I'm going to give you another introduction. You were introduced a moment ago to the SGA Executive Council, and I'd now like to introduce you, especially those of you who are new students here, to another Executive Council, the wonderful executive team that supports the operation of the college. Each one of these individuals is someone you should come to know. They can be resources to you, and all of us are student-centered and eager, of course, to be of help to you. So you can always find the list of the members of our executive cabinet on our website. Just Google Executive Cabinet at Georgetown College, and it'll show up, and it's got email addresses for each one of us where you can reach us. I'm going to introduce each member, and what they need to do is stand up when I do introduce them. So our first is our newest member of Executive Cabinet, and this is Kimberly Chandler. Kimberly, there. Kimberly serves as Interim Vice President of Athletics and our Athletic Director. Next is Bethany Langdon. There she is. Bethany is our Vice President for Advancement and Communication. Any of you who've been working on the Greenhouse Project knows she also will do other things on occasion. Curtis Sandberg, of course. Yay. Curtis is well known as our Vice President for Student Life, and indeed that's because that's what he is. Mr. Russ Sherman, there he is. Rush is our Vice President of Administration and Finance, our CFO and Treasurer, which means he's the money guy, so it's good to know him always. Leah Stubbs, who is, I think, out getting things ready for us, is the Executive Assistant to the President, and if you ever come up to my office, and I hope you do, she'll be the one who will greet you and will make it possible for you to come and see me. And never hesitate that if you have a question or a concern, you always can come to see me. Sally Wojtrowski. There you go. Sally is our Vice President for Business Operations, and what that means is she is the person who takes care of a lot of the kind of ancillary vendors who work with us, like NMR, who does our maintenance and housekeeping, Sodexo, that does our food service, Follett, that does our bookstore, other things like that. She manages all of this. In addition, she oversees our campus safety operation. And as a result, if you have any questions or concerns related to campus safety, or with facilities, or with food, Sally, my goodness, there's a lot of things you can be contacting Sally about. So get to know Sally Wojtrowski. And last, of course, but not least, is our Provost and Executive Vice President, Dr. Jonathan Sands-Wise. Now, as it turns out, it's really lucky for me that his name comes last in the alphabet, so I was introducing him last, so that I can now transition seamlessly to the introduction of him as today's opening convocation speaker. He is, as I mentioned, our Provost and Executive Vice President, and of course, the Provost is the person who is in charge of the academic program in general, and an Executive Vice President essentially just makes sure that things get done across campus. At the moment, for instance, as part of his role and expanded role, he is also overseeing our enrollment management operation. So he does a lot on this campus. And honestly, when he arrived as an assistant professor of philosophy in the fall of 2008, I don't think that he would have been imagining the trajectory of his time at Georgetown College. He had actually prepared for the academic life, earning a BA in philosophy at Houghton College and his MA and PhD in philosophy at Baylor University. After 6 blissful years as a faculty member, he suddenly found himself catapulted, not entirely willingly, into administration. He spent a year as Associate Dean of Academic Success and then was surprised to find himself appointed Vice President for Enrollment Management, a role he held for 6 years before moving to the Provost's role in January of 2021. But that bare summary doesn't really capture the multiplicity of what he has done and continues to do for this college. He has been adept at adaptation, learning new roles with sometimes terrifying efficiency. And all the while, he has continued to keep teaching and has made it his mission to serve students well in every way possible, as a teacher, a leader, a resource, and a guide. Please help me in welcoming Dr. Jonathan Sandswise.
Well, I am honored to have this opportunity to speak at opening convocation. Convocation, as I'm sure you know, comes from convocare, meaning to call together. And that is a really lovely image for what we are doing here, both in this chapel, but here at the college. We are called together for a purpose. But what is that purpose? I recently saw an old catalog, a picture up here, from 1887-88 school year, and it is delightful to spend a little bit of time in. For example, it has a section on our location. It says, quote, Georgetown College has all that could be desired as to its location. It is freed from the many and strong vices that beset a city, and from the inconveniences of the country. The town itself is one of the prettiest in the state, besides being situated in the bluegrass of Kentucky, a section of the state that for loveliness, fertility of the soil, and the culture of the people is unsurpassed in the whole country. I left out the perhaps. It's clearly true. There's also an abstract of college laws. They're all worth reading, but I will include just a couple. Number 4 says that no student will be permitted to be absent from his room after 7 o'clock at night without leave, except to attend church or one of the voluntary societies connected with college. Number 5 says that no student will be permitted to leave the town on any pretext, whatever, during term time without previous permission from the president. And number 6 says that no student shall attend any exhibition of an immoral tendency or frequent any barroom or tippling house. Number 9, just for fun, also says that you may not duel while a student at Georgetown, which of all those rules I think is still true. Now, along with these, there is a section on student life in college that I find very interesting. It says, quote, the wise ancient moralist Seneca, on a review of his life, was led to complain of his teachers that they taught him how to think rather than how to live. Acting upon the suggestion of this, one of the wisest men of the old time, it shall be the special endeavor of the president of this college to inculcate correct views of life and duty to the young people of this college. I'm not sure, as a philosopher, that I would quite so simply differentiate learning to think from learning to live, but the point remains an interesting one. What is it that we are trying to accomplish at Georgetown College, and does it have any meaning anymore? After all, as you have likely heard, ChatGPT is the latest in a long line of technologies that have been trumpeted or bemoaned as the end of education. Why bother going to college, the thought seems to be, when machines can now answer all questions for you instantly. So with the advent of generative artificial intelligence, is a liberal arts education like that offered at GC worth it? Is it still necessary or even helpful? Probably not. No, I'm just kidding. And in fact, what I want to argue, briefly, is that in a world of generative artificial intelligence, a college education of exactly the sort we offer at Georgetown College may well be the most valuable investment you will make in your entire life. Financially, yes, but well beyond that. As proof, I offer our new mission statement, officially approved by the Board of Trustees in July, but based on well over a year of listening, brainstorming, and wordsmithing. This is printed on the front, in the front of your bulletin. Dr. Allen read it earlier. It is on the screen now. Georgetown College's mission is to provide a welcoming and challenging educational community, rooted in Christian love and service that prepares students to make a positive difference in the world. Now, during our brief time together, we're going to take this in 3 natural divisions to see if it can give us any reason to believe the GC degree is of any use in an AI world. Now, along with talking about the mission, I also this summer was thinking that we really need a new college song. So I've written a few. I'm going to go ahead and sing those for you this morning. You can vote at the end on which one you like best. We'll have a brief poll. I did write these entirely by myself, music and words, so please be kind. The first was inspired by a movie that maybe some of you saw this year. I'm a living soul in an AI world. I need GC where it ain't easy. Professors that care, that is awfully rare. Not information, but a transformation. Come on, Tigers, let's go study. Anyway. So that's one possibility. We'll see. We'll see if that's the favorite. All right, so let's take the first part of the mission statement, provide a welcoming and challenging educational community. Now, every part of this mission statement is aspirational, meaning we certainly haven't achieved it yet. But this is the best version of Georgetown College that we are striving to be. And this is immediately obvious in this first statement that we're not there yet. We strive to be an educational community that is characterized by how we welcome and challenge all of the members of that community. And yet we often fail to be community at all. In a true community, every person should be seen and embraced with devoted attention, affirmed in their being while challenged to become better. We often fail at this because it's just hard. Rather than affirming the identity and value of others, we're often too focused on protecting our own self-worth or time, or we simply don't see others at all. We worry too much about being nice and not enough about other people to challenge them to be better. But while we often fail, the vision is beautiful and right. We should be an educational community, one that welcomes and challenges all. That first word, welcomes, was also chosen very carefully. I've heard Dr. Allen say that an older sister might include a younger sister if she's told she has to, but she will not welcome her with joy. We do not include all begrudgingly. We seek to welcome with joy. Of every race and political persuasion, of every gender and gender identity, and of every religious belief or none at all, we affirm that everyone is of immense dignity and value. And we challenge all of us to enrich our community as we strive to become better ourselves. At our best, we are filled with joy at the diverse community that has been called together in this convocation. And we are humbled that we get to be part of it. So back to AI. While AI might write a beautiful love poem, it really won't right now, but give it a little bit of time, it cannot give you community. AI might carry on a tireless conversation, but it cannot give you patience or welcome or meaningful challenge. While AI might be able to spout off essays or facts instantly, it cannot challenge you to grow. The very substance of what we are, a called together and embodied people, is something AI can never provide for you. And therefore, it cannot provide for you the benefits of that educational community with all of its discomfort and pleasure. Likewise, at GC, we not only welcome our students and challenge them as people, but obviously we seek to challenge them intellectually as well. We're good at that. We strive, in fact, to inculcate in our students just those sorts of critical skills that will allow them to look at the intensely confusing world that is on its way and even here already, where truth becomes more and more difficult to see as it is endlessly parodied, wrapped in lies, bandied about in echo chambers, faked and deep-faked, and find their way through to what matters. As I pondered on all of this and that statement in the 1887 catalog, I imagined an inspired student who might sing, my apologies beforehand, I'm not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. Hey, yo, just like my colors, I'm here for more than just the knowledge, and I'm not throwing away my shot. I'm going to use my scholarship to Georgetown College. Of course, I'll go to class, have a blast, try to amaze and astonish. The promise is I don't just want to polish, but truth. As Dr. Allen says in Shakespeare, that's forsooth. Be kind, help form my mind, don't just inform my brain. Help me become my call, and I'll count it all as gain. I'm not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. Hey, yo, just like my college, here for more than just the knowledge, and I'm not throwing away my shot. I did apologize. Which leads me to the next part of our mission statement. Why are we trying to provide a welcoming and challenging educational community? Because we are rooted in Christian love and service. We welcome and challenge all in our educational community as full members affirmed in their uniqueness because we are rooted in Christian love. This love informs not only individual characters, but our community writ large. We do not welcome LGBTQ individuals or straight cisgender women or conservatives or philosophy majors or whatever other troubling category you may be bothered by, despite being Christian, but because of it. Just as everyone is a child of God, so everyone is welcomed and seen and challenged and matured here, at least when we're at our best. But Christian love is a rich soil and not exhausted by our commitment to welcome and challenge all. This is also a powerful and revolutionary belief that has changed the world, not to mention lives. That at the heart of reality is not hate or even indifference, but self-sacrificial, service-oriented, wider than space and deeper than time, love. And now I need to give you just a very small touch of the history of philosophy so you can understand my next claim. Way back in ancient Greece, there was a group of teachers called sophists, which means roughly wise men. They would travel around and sell their services to teach the sons of rich men. Sorry, we're only talking about men at this point, all extremely misogynistic. And they had the reputation, which was surely deserved for at least some of them, that they could teach anyone to win any argument by sounding like they knew what they were talking about, whether they did or not. Unfortunately, with social media, and now even more with AI, I fear that we are in another age of sophistry. ChatGPT has a nasty habit of occasionally doing what its creators call hallucinating, which is a nice sounding term for completely making stuff up. What they don't tell you is that in a sense, ChatGPT is always hallucinating because it was not created to produce true statements, but to produce plausible statements. Having been trained on endless reams of human writing, it sounds nearly identical to a human being. By the time we get to ChatGPT 7 or 10, it'll probably be able to fool anybody. But all it is trying to do is recreate the patterns of speech. It was not made to and cannot say anything true except accidentally. If our educational community is rooted in Christian love, though, I take that to mean in part that we are committed to something beyond or above or beneath this simulation of reality. After the sophists came a guy you may have heard of called Socrates and then his disciple Plato, and they argued that there must be a good and a true and a beautiful, and that life is given meaning by striving for the good and the true and the beautiful. Now, if you read the news, you will see that even some of the creators of AI are very worried about whether it's suddenly going to become sentient and create a new deadly virus or destroy all of humanity with nuclear bombs or warfare or some other dystopian fever dream. And maybe that will happen. Maybe, for unrelated reasons, I don't believe AI can become sentient, but maybe we will accidentally destroy all of humanity with our newest toy. I hope not. I do think, though, that this fear-mongering often misses the real and present danger of AI. Human beings have a nasty habit of creating technology in our own image, then finding that we have in turn remade ourselves in the image of our technology. This should worry us deeply in the case of what is now called artificial intelligence, for it is far more artificial than intelligent. The real and present danger of AI is that it will teach us to value the plausible over the true, the prompt over the well thought out, and the easy over the valuable. Or even worse, to simply give up on the idea of truth and goodness and beauty entirely. At our best, the challenging educational community at GC, rooted as it is in Christian love, wants to make you more than artificially intelligent sounding. We want to help you become a good person that can think for yourself and that lives a life of purpose aimed at goodness, beauty, and truth through service to others. So for our final entrant for New College Song, I simply couldn't resist once I'd heard it. If you stand for nothing, you'll fall for everything. They held you down, but you got up. TikTok said you'll never be enough. I hear your voice saying you need more. A salary ain't all that you were put here for. They held you down, but you got up. Hey, I can never be enough. You see it all, you see it now. You've got the eye of a tiger, a fighter for justice is mightier. The world needs more champions, and it's gonna hear us roar louder. It needs your power. This is love's hour, and it's gonna hear us roar. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 it's gonna hear us roar. Which leads us to the final part of our mission statement. That prepares students to make a positive difference in the world. We are rooted in Christian love and service, and both of those extend far beyond the borders of this bubble we call Georgetown College. You are never your own purpose. Just as you cannot give your life meaning, so you cannot be your own purpose for being. Always you must live for something bigger than yourself, and just as this is true for you individually, so it is true for this college. At our best, this institution is not here just to continue being here. We are here because we have a vital role to play in making a positive difference in this world. There are not so many places like this in the world, where all are welcomed because of a commitment to Christian love and service and ready to go out and live for the good of the broader world. Back to Seneca's challenge at the beginning. This shaped education that Georgetown was striving to offer nearly 150 years ago, and it should shape us today. We don't just want to teach you what to know, but how to live, and that is for others. If I am being totally honest, I am not against AI, which is an amazing technology and tool, and one that I would encourage you to use appropriately and seek to understand. What really worries me about AI is not AI itself, but the ways in which it may exaggerate some of the worst tendencies of human nature. And we've got enough problems already. At GC, we want to help you learn how to read critically and write clearly and argue carefully and think coherently for yourself. And you know what? We have excellent proof that we do this well and that these skills are going to help you become more employable and wealthier in the future, since for 5 years in a row, we've been ranked best in the state on just those measures. And those are the skills that will be even more important in a world run by our robot overlords. But if all you get from GC is a degree that helps you make more money, then we have also failed. For those same skills are what you need to know the brokenness of the world that is so deep and the hope that runs even deeper. Those same skills, along with the ability to see caringly, to work constantly, and to love courageously. Combine those, and you will change the world. It is for this that we have been called together in this opening convocation. So thank you for coming to be part of this mission and for all that you will do this year to help us be exactly this kind of community. Call us to account when we fail and help us ever strive to be better. In the residence halls, on the courts, in the fields, in the classroom, in your labs, let's make this a year when we get a little closer to living out the mission of Georgetown College. Now, I told you there would be a poll to vote on the psalm, but actually I don't need to, because we got a nano emotion AI that read all of your expressions while I sang to tell which one was the most popular. So let's see what it says. Well, I will just have to reassure myself with the literal truth that AI does not know what it is talking about. And I leave you with this challenge. Make sure you do. Whether you're talking to your friends or in life or in classes, know what you're talking about. Use this time well to be changed and become the change that you're going to make in the world. You will find that the formation and education you receive in this welcoming and challenging educational community, rooted in Christian love and service, will indeed prepare you to make a positive difference in the world, whatever new technologies may come. Thank you, and have a blessed year. And then I was supposed to say, please rise to do the commitment to community, led by Kyle Later.
Please open up your pamphlets to the commitment to community. And read with me. I accept the opportunity and the challenge of becoming a member of the Georgetown College community. Because I have come to Georgetown College by personal choice, I agree to abide by the academic, social, and spiritual standards of the institution. I commit myself to broaden my intellectual horizons, to extend my cultural awareness, to grow spiritually, to exchange my social perception, and to develop my physical well-being. As a member of the Georgetown College community, I will seek to affirm the value and dignity of all its members as we engage in the living and learning opportunities before us. Thank you, Georgetown College.
You may now be seated. Briefly, as I get to close out this wonderful experience here, I'm so grateful to Dr. Sands-Wise. I do think that nanointelligence was accurate in some of its readings from some people. I just don't know, but certainly not 100% of, well, maybe 100%. Anyway, thank you so much to him for that insight and for that wonderful reminder of exactly what it is that we're doing here. And I want you all to genuinely embrace this opportunity to get to know each other, to get to rely on each other, to ask questions of each other. My happiest moment so far this week has been when one of my students actually asked to understand better something that had been taught in class that I really hadn't necessarily reached her, and she wanted to know more. You don't know how much that means when you come forward as a student, go to a faculty member and say, please, I'm not quite sure I understood what you said, but I want to understand. That's what we live for. That's part of what this educational community is all about, the way we can share our knowledge, the way we can come together, the way we can ask questions of each other and get to the point where we understand things better. Please aspire to that over the course of this coming year. I am so glad that you are here, and I know, unfortunately, I do think probably for some of you, one of the reasons you are here is because you know that there's this thing called Nexus. And if you haven't figured it out yet, I want to let you know that I am not going to announce the Nexus code because I don't have to. It is in your bulletin, last page, there at the bottom. Ha. Okay. Now, do notice that it says that the Nexus code is there and that this code must be submitted no later than 3 hours after the end of the event. So it's there for you to enter as you are able. Now, I am going to ask Mr. Powell to come forward and lead us in our alma mater. I love our alma mater. It speaks to my heart because it's one of those traditions over and over again, hearing it, it will come to represent to you a lot of what these formal and embracing events can be like. So stand now for our alma mater.
Alma Mater, ah, dear Georgetown, belle of the blue, 'tis thee we crown. Thou hast taught us truth and right, and to trust in God's own might. Our alma mater, thy dear honored name, is soul-inspiring. Long live thy fame. To us thou wilt be a beacon to guide, to duty, to faith, and truest loyalty. Please remain standing.
Hello, if I haven't met you yet, my name is Gabby Dixon, and I go by use she, her pronouns, and I am the Director of Student Engagement and Violence Prevention Coordinator, and I have the joy of being able to share a benediction with you. So as we are about to depart from this service, let me share my hopes and wishes for you. May you leave this space and continue to discover the depth and breadth of your purpose. May your mind be challenged and your heart be warmed. May you feel and know you are loved. May you continue to find the places and people that show you that you belong, because you matter, and you help shape the culture of Georgetown College. You are a part of humankind, which means you need to embrace being both human and kind. Now let's take a moment. Breathe. And close your eyes. Think of what it would feel like to excel, to belong, to be loved, to have community, wisdom, purpose, and to live into your values. Now open your eyes and go create that world where you and others can live in that space together. God bless you.